Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ayan, and the paper which I am going to present is titled Disney versus Netflix: The Adaptation of Sher. So, in 2016, Disney's the remake of 1967 version, The Jungle Book. Hello. Sorry. So in 2016, the remake of the 1967 version, The Jungle Book, released, and in 2018 also, Andy Serkis' Mowgli: Legend of the Jungle also released, which was produced by Netflix. Warner Bros. Sorry, streamed on Netflix. So, and these two movies had a completely different tone, although they were adapted from the same short story collection by Rudyard Kipling. So the matter of my paper is the adaptation of the character of Sher Khan in both the movies, the 2016 version and 2018 version, and the paper further explores which adaptation of the character is more close to the original text. So published in 1894, Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book proved to be a hit with young and old alike. The Jungle Book, stories of a human boy named Mowgli raised by animals in the wild, is made for riveting reading. In these stories, the animals proved to be both Mowgli's allies and adversaries. Baloo the bear, Bagheera the panther, and Sher Khan the tiger have all become famous characters. They even appeared in Kipling's sequel, The Second Jungle Book, which debuted in 1895. Now, one of the most crucial reasons why Mowgli and his adventures became intrinsically involved with our childhood is because of the numerous adaptations of this beloved short story collection, the most timeless being Walt Disney's The Jungle Book, 1967. Now, Disney's adaptation surely had made the stories of Mowgli immortal, but it can't be denied that most of these adaptations tend to avoid the dark themes and the complexity of the characters which Kipling emphasized upon through his stories. According to Robert B. Sherman and Richard M. Sherman, the American songwriter duo for the 1967 film, Walt Disney, the co-founder of the Walt Disney Company, told them things like, "Don't be too heavy and don't be like the original book." Walt Disney wanted to give the film a Disney quality, which led to the lively characters and enjoyable songs to sing along to. In 2016, Walt Disney's Classics was remade by Jon Favreau, whose technical brilliance and stellar performance from the star cast left us speechless. Though the 2016 version was more close to the text than the 1967 one, it left enough room for another movie to be made, because Disney never explored the grim expressions of their stories. When Netflix's Mowgli: Legend of the Jungle's trailer released, it was like a breath of fresh air amongst all these adaptations. So, during an interview, Andy Serkis, the director of Mowgli: Legend of the Jungle, said, "We were going back to the source material. I knew exactly the tone of the story I wanted to tell, coming from the tone of the book. So the previous movie version didn't really bother me." So, I would like to show how the treatment in both the movies is different by different directors. If we see the color correction in both the movies, like here you see in the above picture is a screenshot from the Netflix version. So the above screenshot is from the Netflix version and the below one is from the Disney version. So you can see from the color correction that the two are totally had a different tone. So now I am going to compare the two movies, the characterization of Sher Khan in both the movies, and how much it is in sync with the character of the book. So the basic physical trait of Sher Khan is his limping. He has been lame in one foot from his birth, says Raksha, the mother wolf, in the story Mowgli's Brothers. The physical disability is important because this acts as an irony with his name. His name Sher Khan means majestic, but because of this physical disability, he is mocked by animals inferior to him. And Sher Khan is also sometimes afraid of animals inferior to him, like Tabaqui, the jackal. I would like to quote a portion from Mowgli's Brothers from the Jungle Book, which says, "Even the tiger runs and hides when little Tabaqui goes mad. For madness is the most disgraceful thing that can overtake a wild creature. We call it hydrophobia, but they call it divani, the madness, and run." So in this limping, the Disney hasn't put much focus upon this trait, physical trait. However, Netflix has put a great deal of emphasis upon this. I'd like to show you two videos which will furthermore strengthen my comment.
notice there's this strange odor.
Carefully notice that the limping is not there in the Disney movie. This clip. This is the entry of Sher Khan.
I almost think it was some kind of
Legs.
mad cow.
Mowgli belongs to my pack, Jacob.
Mowgli? They've given it a name. What was it? We came to adopt man into the jungle.
He's just a cub.
Does my face not remind you of what a grown man can do? If you're hunting around for a few years and everyone forgets how the law works.
So this was from the Disney version. Now I like to play. This is the entry of Sher Khan in the Netflix movie.
His parents.
Carefully observe the legs.
I killed them. He's the one to come looking for him.
This is not your concern, Sher
The
Khan.
cub is mine. I have already tasted its mother's blood.
So this was the difference which I wanted to point out. Now the second thing which shows that Netflix has tried to keep the characters in sync with the text is by including the character Tabaqui, the jackal. You can see here the jackal Tabaqui. In Disney's Jungle Book 2016, Sher Khan has no one to his company, but in Netflix's version, Tabaqui is shown as his so-called companion. The inclusion of Tabaqui in the movie does more justice to the text. Sher Khan, who trusts Tabaqui the most, is betrayed by him in the end. This thing made Sher Khan same to Mowgli because Mowgli was also betrayed by his wolf brothers. As we witness the development of the character Mowgli, we notice that he is similar to Sher Khan. Mowgli becomes an outcast just like the ancestors of Sher Khan, the first of the tigers, became in the story how fear came in the second Jungle Book. Sher Khan is feared by all, and as Mowgli grows up, he is also feared by the jungle. So the stories in the book exhibits the politics of Sher Khan more than his physical strength. Don Randall says that as the rebels of Sepoys of 1857 looked to Bahadur Shah for leadership, so during the troubled period of interregnum within the Seoni pack, restless young wolves rally around Sher Khan and turn against Mowgli. Just as the British in the 1858 put an end to the symbolic kingship of Bahadur Shah, so Mowgli puts an end to the lame tiger's pretensions to the power. The story of Mowgli's ultimate victorious struggle against Sher Khan thus mirrors key features of mutiny history and of the British reconstitution of that history, recapitulating a British triumph in the midst of treachery and adversity. The politics of Sher Khan is seen a bit in Disney's The Jungle Book 2016 when Sher Khan is talking with the wolf kids or when he misleads Mowgli into throwing the fire. But Sher Khan's politics is more visible in Andy Serkis's adaptation. Here Sher Khan does not randomly attack Mowgli as in the Disney version but observes him and when he strikes hard. Another thing which grabs attention is the reason for killing Sher Khan, which is different in both the movies. In the book, Mowgli is being constantly nagged by Bagheera that he needs to kill Sher Khan. I would like to read out a portion from the story Mowgli's Brothers. It was one very warm day that a new notion came to Bagheera, born of something that he had heard. Perhaps Ikki the porcupine had told him, but he said to Mowgli, when they were deep in the jungle, as the boy lay with his head on Bagheera's beautiful black skin, "Little brother, how often have I told thee that Sher Khan is thy enemy?" "As many times as there are nuts on that palm," said Mowgli, who naturally could not count. "What of it? I am sleepy, Bagheera, and Sher Khan is all long tail and loud talk, like Ma, the peacock." This shows that Mowgli is treated as a weapon to kill Khan. They know it's a man who can kill the tiger, and at the end, the reason for killing Sher Khan in the book is shown as the promise which he makes to his wolf mother. This motive is changed in both the movies. Netflix even introduces an albino, Hood, a character not present in the stories, whose death becomes the motive of revenge for Mowgli. In Disney version, the reason for killing Sher Khan is the death of Akela. Another character trait of Sher Khan which was missing in the films is the attacking technique of Sher Khan. In the stories, he always attacks from the back because he can't look in the eyes of man, as we see in the How Fear Came in the story, where man is an embodiment of fear, And when he first killed man, then only in one night he can look into the eyes of man, and on the other nights he attacks from the back. But however, in the movies we see a Sher Khan looking into the eyes of his prey and hunting, whether it is a man or an animal. In both the movies, except in the Disney version when Sher Khan attacks Mowgli from the back in one scene. The death of Sher Khan is portrayed differently in the movies. In the Disney version, he is killed by Mowgli with the help of fire or the red flower, as the animals say. In the book, Sher Khan is killed near the man village by a stampede of buffaloes and cows planned by Mowgli. I think that using the setting of the village and the stampede scene would have sent a better message to the audience, because killing the so-called antagonist by burning half of the forest promotes nothing but the destruction of nature. And it was also not in the book. In the book, there was the setting of a village, and in the stampede scene, not burning of the forest. However, Netflix adapts the killing of Sher Khan beautifully. It uses the setting of the village and the character of the hunter, which makes the fighting scene look real and also in sync with and somehow in sync with the text. The most striking feature which I found absent in Disney and present in the Netflix version is the portrayal of Sher Khan not as a villain but an animal with flaws. Sher Khan is shown as a being that can have flaws and can make mistakes which humanize the character. In the end, Mowgli says in the movie, Netflix version, "Sleep now, Sher Khan, be angry no more." I'd like to show the clip. So the Netflix version raises certain questions. Is the tiger really wrong? Man is forbidden in the jungle. Sher Khan knows that infiltration of man will bring nothing but destruction. So it is evident that he is against Mowgli. He is not wrong from his point of view. Another view which can be considered as the Sher Khan's reason of wanting Mowgli dead is that he wants to remain the most powerful being in the jungle. He is intelligent enough to realize that Mowgli is more powerful than him. But then one may say that Mowgli goes to the village. So why does he come to kill Mowgli? Two reasons can be provided. One, Mowgli's father has scarred Khan with red flower, that is fire. He is banned in one eye. So he wants to kill Mowgli and taste revenge. Secondly, he is addicted to the scent of blood. The scent of blood maddens him. This addiction to the scent of blood in the book and is also shown in Netflix's Mowgli Legend of the Jungle. In the scene Cold Layers, where he just scratches his arm and then says, "I just like the taste of your blood." And then he is saved by Ka, the cat of Mowgli. So now the reasons, revenge and addiction, are they not human flaws? So I would like to conclude by saying that what I felt after watching the movies is that Andy Serkis has involved more stories from the book than Jon Favreau. The story Tiger Tiger is not even present in Disney's The Jungle Book 2016 version. Andy Serkis has humanized the character of Sher Khan. Sher Khan, like any other being in a competitive world, possesses the desire to be at the top of hierarchy, is gullible to addiction, and he may want anything but the destruction of his home, the jungle. Is Sher Khan a villain or is he a victim? That's for us to decide. But one thing which Andy Serkis makes clear through his movie is that Sher Khan is a character who, just like any other being in the universe, is flawed and make mistakes that are human. Thank you.
Thank you.